Penne or rigatoni?
It's rigatoni actually for me.
Oh, for me, it's penne all day. It's obviously about the pasta.
It's totally about the pasta. Are you ready to get down to reality?
Let's get down to reality.
Welcome to Down to Reality. I am your host, Ro, also known as Reality Ops.
I am your other host, Connection Queen, also known as M.
The other way around.
Oh my god, every time. I'm your co-host, M, also known as Connection Queen X.
There you go. All right. We are here today to do a recap for you of Vanderpump Rules Season 11, Episode 6, which was to us a very good episode.
Finally, I have been waiting. I'm a little bit tight that I had to wait until episode 6 to really feel that like VPR energy, but it was finally served to us, no pun intended, and I'm here for
Yeah.
it.
I love that you use the word tight there. That's an interesting term to use.
Yeah, I was
That's
I was a little tight, like uptight. I was a
oh,
little
uptight.
well,
Yeah.
okay, you say like I'm tight, that means like I'm a little annoyed. Like I'm tight, I'm annoyed.
Oh, you're teaching me all the cool lingo, the younger lingo.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so we're gonna do a recap of the episode for you, and at the end, we're going to answer some questions that you guys asked on the Instagram stories. We'll pull up a few of those, and that will be fun because we haven't done that yet.
Yeah, and I love just reading other people's comments or like their observations of episodes too. So I'm definitely excited to kind of get into that at the end.
Same, girl, same. So before we start, we want to give a big congratulations to Miss Lala Kent.
I'm clapping. I didn't know if you could hear it or not, but I am
I heard
so
it.
excited.
I was clapping too.
The fact that she posted with the caption, like, I'm expanding my pod, can I just say, like, for me, I don't know why, but that just made me so giddy because I know for her, she's very big into like animals and the whales. And that was such like a whale reference. And I was like,
Yeah.
wait, pods are supportive, protective, there's major companionship. And I don't know. It was just very sweet.
Yeah, and her pod, I mean, she meant it with the whales, but her pod also, like, the podcast, they also call the pod like we do,
Yep.
and they have the 3 of them, and they're like their pod of people. If they had a TV show, they'd probably call it the pod. But, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, she's pregnant with her 2nd baby, and she is doing this with a donor sperm.
Ooh, like the sperm whale?
So she is not there is no baby daddy that will be in their life. And she is doing this on her own, but obviously with the help of her mom and her brother, who basically live with her. I don't know if they actually live with her.
But I know that they're always around, they're always spending time together and everything, and I just have to say, totally support and thoroughly enjoy when someone's like, "I wanna have a kid, and maybe I don't have, like, a partner right now. I'm gonna do this on my own." I give so much respect, and yeah, I'm just very excited for her.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice because she wants a baby and she was ready for that baby. And baby's coming. And she said she doesn't want to wait for a man for that. And I totally, like you said, I respect that. Whatever she feels is right for her family is what she'll do. And I have to say, one of the hot topics about this was like, what is she gonna name the baby?
Oh,
I don't know if
yeah.
you know I put that.
So, are you kidding me? I was so excited. I left that question too. I was like, "What do we think that she is? Do we think she's gonna go with the same vibe of, like, ocean and maybe we'll get some, like, earth, wind, fire tones," you know? I did
Right.
leave that as a question on one of my videos, and people wrote pretty honestly, I was like, "Wait, I kinda like these names." Some of them were like Ash. I like the name Ash.
Oh, that's cool.
I have
Yeah.
I don't know, boy, girl, whatever the case is.
Right.
Somebody, like, LOL wrote Wave. I was like, "Okay." I don't think she's gonna name the baby Wave, but
I said possibly like a river, but wave. I said possibly like a river, but
ooh, I
but
like that one, River, that's cool, actually.
river. But somebody wrote on my posts that orca, and a lot of people a lot of people liked it.
Orca?
I just can't yes. which I can actually picture her doing, but I just
I mean,
like
maybe, like, the nickname Ori could be cute. "Ori, come here, Ori."
yeah.
Yeah. I think sometimes people just have to think about, like, what it would be like for the kid with that name, but she did pick Ocean, and I think Ocean is beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna get started on recapping episode 6 for you, but this went long, so we are cutting it into 2 parts. So we're releasing part 1 of this today, and then probably either over the weekend or Monday, you will get part 2 because there was just so much that happened and a lot to talk about.
So, let's get started on the episode, right?
We have to recap. Again, I'm so excited because I finally feel like I got to see a Vanderpump Rules episode, like an actual one.
It was very to me, in edit and just the style, it reminded me a lot of the finale of season 10, which was phenomenal television,
Amazing.
obviously.
Honestly, I feel like because we're gonna get into it, today, personally, on social media, all I saw was the scenes of Lala and Sheena in the bed.
Yeah, a lot of that. Alright, so let's get started so we can get to that part, and we are gonna basically go through much of the episode because almost every scene was a scene. Like,
Absolutely.
everything was kind of important. So, alright, it starts off with Sandoval writing in his diary, "Dear Diary," and I have to say, I have this weird thing, I don't wanna read someone's diary as much as I wanna know all the dirt. I couldn't. Like, I couldn't look at any of the pictures of it, I did not wanna zoom on it. I'll read anybody's text messages that they post, but I couldn't look at the diary.
Wait,
Did
that
you
is
look at
so
it?
funny. Hold on. So you wait, is it like a visual thing or is it just like you can't read it? Or you don't
No, it's
wanna
I
read
feel
it?
guilty, like, I feel like even though he's
Oh.
putting this on TV, it's not like his notebook is on display, so I'm like, "I do not wanna read your diary."
Ooh, that's interesting. See, I kind of see it as, like, staged. Like, I don't actually think we're gonna see, like, his true thoughts in the diary because he knows
Yeah.
it's being recorded, but that's an interesting point, and I respect you so much for respecting people's boundaries.
It's so stu
Seriously.
it's
I'm
so
too
stupid,
nosy.
I don't know why I
I'm way
care.
too nosy. I'm, like, screenshotting, I'm zooming up.
I'm normally like that.
And it's weird because, like, obviously I know it's staged. Like, he made the choice to lay on the bed and be writing in it. But
It's like a childhood thing or something, like, nobody could look at my diary, I would never look at my friends' diaries, you know?
Wait,
I would always
speaking
go searching for their diary in their room, like, only my best friends who we, like, did everything together with since we were babies, but I would literally go, like, hunting around their room for their diary, and then I would find it, and I would look at the outside. I was, like, a real bad kid, real bad, like, I literally changed in 5th grade, not a joke, but I would look for it, and then I found it, but I would never open it because I couldn't.
you couldn't bring yourself to do but you've Ro has always been a sleuth. I love this. I love this so much.
I have always been a sleuth, I have.
Wait, do you remember the diaries back in the day that had the locks on them? It was like a secret code thing and you could, like, talk into it to open it, or no?
Oh, ours were a generation before, so we had an actual physical key with, like, a metal
Oh, I had one of those too
lock.
with, like, the 2 little keys
Oh,
on it. I did have one of
yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
too, and then, like, tech kind of, I don't know, influenced the diary game, and then
Yeah.
there was one where you could be like you would tell it a secret password and it would unlock.
Wait, stop, was it called My Secret Diary? Is that what it's called?
Yes! Yes!
Wait, I love that thing.
Such a throwback.
My Secret Diary. God, we're really, going off topic. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
I'm sure other people, though, will be like, "Yes, I remember that." That was such, like, a throwback.
Oh, look at it. That was a good
I can
one.
still picture it in my head too. Is it pink?
Yeah, it's
Yep,
pink, mhm.
yep.
Okay. Alright, anyway, so he's writing in his diary, telling all his secrets, and then we cut to Sheena and Lala. So Sheena says to Lala that Sandoval gave her thousands of dollars during the pandemic when her podcast was canceled, which people are confused about, they didn't know it was canceled, but this is a big deal because I know a lot of people are taking away from this and acting like it's not a big deal, but to me, it does show obvious care and concern. He's never boasted about this. You haven't heard in a confessional, "Oh, yeah, that time I gave Sheena the money." You didn't hear about that from him on the reunion. He didn't say on the
There
reunion,
wasn't
like,
even, like, a
"Hey."
blind item about it or anything. It was definitely kept very quiet, which I do think we have to acknowledge in the sense of, like, he wasn't looking for any what is the word that I cannot think of right now?
Like, accolade
Oh
or
my god, get out of my head. Get out of my head. That was the word that I thought of, and I was like, "Is that the right word?" Recognition, recognition.
yeah,
Like, he
recognition, right.
wasn't looking for that, or at least that's how it came off to me, so I was like, "Whoa, wait a second, I've never heard about this."
Yeah. And so it's obvious here that we know Sheena feels some sort of way like she owes him. And I want to talk about that with you. But I do want to just say quickly, I loved her line where she was like, it's not like I'm going to be like, come over for dinner. Let me paint your toenails white. That was a good line.
It was. It was because I feel like that was her way of trying to communicate, "Listen, this isn't what I want, but this is, like, something that I am struggling with right now. Let me make it very clear of where
Yeah.
I'm at emotionally," you know?
Yeah. And she says if she had to pick a team, she would pick Ariana. But when she's saying this, I'm like, I know you're saying it, but I can feel you're going to always question that decision. And I do think if she had to pick a team, I think she would pick Ariana, but I think she would always be thinking about it, questioning it. And, like she's not solid in it and she wants to be solid in it, but she's just not.
Okay, that's so funny because I literally wrote one of my notes was Sheena is kind of making it like she's questioning if she's making the right decision by being Team Ariana because I feel like she is regretting that decision a little bit.
Oh, is that what you feel like? Interesting.
Just because in the sense of, like, what's right for her. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? And, like, I know everyone I've read many comments online. I know that I don't wanna say it's the Sheena show or, like, people perceive it as, like, it's all about Sheena, but, like, let's look at
Yeah.
everyone individually just for a second, not as, like, Scandoval, let's just look at Sheena as a
Mhm.
person who had a friendship with somebody who did something really nice for her, didn't ask for any credit. I feel like at the time Tom sending her the money, did that out of the kindness of his heart maybe, or he was thinking about his friend, whatever the case is. And I also think it's a good point to just say you could be a good friend, not a good partner. There was that kind of conversation as well.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people wonder, did he do this to hold one over on her? Does he do these things to hold one over on someone else or to kind of like manipulate them into feeling bad for him? But I really just think that this was done with an intention of helping someone. And again, as much as I don't like him for many reasons, I just don't think it's fair to take away from people things that they might be doing that are nice and out of the kindness of their heart just because of other things that they've done. Like, we can't just say he didn't do this for a good reason just because he's done other things for shitty reasons.
But I do think, like, she is struggling with, like, "Oh, no, did I make the right decision in being Team Ariana? Because I really am feeling pulled to wanting to forgive Sandoval." And, like, even when she said, "I don't wanna carry this hate anymore," I felt that. Because at
Yeah.
some points, like, you can have issues with people, but at some point, it's gonna eat you alive, and it's gonna take you down. So
Right. If you feel like there are people who really do mean something to you.
that's when you have to decide, "What do I do with these feelings? Do I let them
Yeah.
keep controlling me, or am I gonna control them now?"
Mhm. I totally agree with that. I kept saying to my husband, what should I call him on here? Um,
Do you wanna just call I don't know if you call him hubby, I don't know.
yeah, I'll call him Hubs on here. I'm not gonna say his name for him, but I wasn't saying Hubs. I'm gonna say it now, but in real life, I was saying his name. I was like, "Oh, Hubs. Oh, Hubs. Oh, Hubs." Because I'm like, she's having so and right now I'm rubbing my face, and this is what I did the last time on the podcast. I'm like, I feel like you can literally hear me rubbing my face, but
No,
I
you
was just
can't.
like
I swear you can't.
I was just like, she's struggling so much, and people are coming so hard at
They're, like,
her.
tearing her down, and again
Invalidating everything a person is to me, invalidating everything a person is feeling by putting a label on them as just being all about Sheena. Like, stop labeling people so hard. I'm sorry. I think it's so wrong to do that. You
yeah,
cannot label somebody for life. Just the way Lala was saying, like, you can't label me a mistress for life. Like, I agree with that shit. You can't label Ariana a scorned woman. Like, please stop giving somebody one identity.
I
She
mean,
has
I definitely feel a certain type of way about a label for sure, because I think people could be so much more than just a label, you know?
Yeah. Since when are people one dimensional? Because the last time I checked, I'm 3 fucking D. Like, I am not a one dimensional human.
So
She can
her being even labeled a flip-flopper, I understand why people label her like that. Can we just strip away, though, that label for 1 second and look at the person who I don't think she's crying for fame. I think she's crying because she's feeling,
yeah.
processing, thinking,
Yeah.
reflecting. Like, that's a real moment, and it is a little bit upsetting to me that people can't see her as just a human feeling.
Right. I have to say, however, in my stories, I always ask, like, what are your thoughts on all the people each week? Like, I'll say thoughts on Sheena this episode, thoughts on Lala. And I try to keep it pretty open to see what people say. First time ever, many more responses understanding Sheena. I would say like 30% of the people, which is high for Sheena,
Yeah.
were like, I actually felt Sheena. A lot of people said it was raw, and that's what we felt too. And we're probably going to go over the place, even though we have this outline for today. But, with the meditation scene, with this scene, she was raw.
Again, I'm a hypersensitive person. I definitely feel a certain type of way about that because I think we should be able to see her for her, separate, pull her away from the situation. Imagine we don't know about Scandival and she
Yeah.
is telling her story. I would show empathy and sympathy towards her. Wow, that sounds really messed up. You had a really good friend do something really bad to another one of your really good friends. You're in a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if we agree with what she's feeling, it's what she's feeling.
That's the whole part. Yes, what you just said, I feel like is so important because it's like, we don't have to agree with it, and we don't even have to understand it, but can we at least just respect that, like, she is a person that is sharing how she's feeling? Because I think that also, like, vulnerability is a big deal, and I think she was very, very vulnerable.
Yeah, validate that. She doesn't get recognition for that. Like, good for her for being so fucking vulnerable. There are a lot of people who are not like that and don't show any of that. And she's putting this shit all out there.
And I
And
also feel like some people are I don't wanna say scapegoating, I don't know if that's the right word or not.
yes, it is. And I've thought about this before too. Yes.
I'm proud of her because she really is being so honest. She's
Yeah.
actually not faking it.
Yeah. And Lala, I think is being we are gonna have positives and negatives to each person. I wanna say that before you guys, if you're just listening now, if you're like, Sheena, complete sympathizer or whatever. My point is we're gonna say we like to look at everything with an open-minded approach and just like see each thing for what it is and different sides of every person and every situation. So I want to make that clear. I might say this about Sheena now, but there might be something else that she does that I'm like, this was ridiculous. It's just our opinion on this matter. But Lala, I feel like is being such a good fucking friend to Sheena. And I
1,000%.
love that. I love their relationship. I don't love what Lala's doing with Ariana right now.
Agreed. Good, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, we'll get to Ariana too, and like how people are putting way too much on her. She should not have to deal with any of this. This is not on her.
Also, I just wanna piggyback off of something you just said. I feel like that's why you and I connected so much is because we do like to see 1,000 different viewpoints to understand something. We wanna see 10 different angles, and I also think it's about, like, that flexible thinking as well. A label is very definitive. If you're able to
Mhm.
remove a label, I think you're able to see things from a different lens, you know?
Yeah. I agree. Oh, I like that. I like that statement. Yeah. Oh my god, the scene that really got me was Lala and Sheena in the bathroom. It was after the meditation, we're going out of order, whatever, but she comes back up to the room and she is sobbing, and the poor thing had, her bronzer is like all over her neck or self tan or whatever it is. Her face is like, washed of her makeup, and she looks like she was looking at Lala like, "You get me, you're getting me," and Lala's looking at her and helping her friend and validating her feelings, and what Lala says is what I was actually feeling in that moment. As much as I cannot stand Sandoval for what he did, I thought the same thing that she ended up saying, and she said, "He also cannot be crucified day in and day out. He made a mistake." And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I feel now." And I never, as much as I was like, been, how I am, like, been looking at him differently and trying to understand, even though I hate what he did. I call him a douche when he's a douche.
I know,
I
but I
think,
feel like you've been very, very, very fair. Your perspective on things, for sure.
but when I'm watching this episode, it was the first time that I was really like, "This is enough now." Like, this is enough now, and
Okay,
by
I
the way
agree
and
with
this is
you
only
in
a few
that
months
moment.
after.
I agree with you in that moment in the bathroom, but then, me personally, I flip-flopped at the end of the episode with Lala and Sandoval on the boat.
Oh, absolutely, we'll get to that, absolutely.
But you could
I
see
just
how he
mean
can flip-flop though, even in an episode
yeah.
within 45 minutes, because 'cause I'm like, "Yeah, no, I actually totally see where Lala's coming from."
When I say this is enough now, what I meant was this is enough now with, like, the public crucifixion
Yes.
of him on such a deep level, and, at first when people would be like, "Lots of people cheat. People cheat every day. Cheating is normal." I'd be like, "What the fuck? Where do you live that cheating is a normal?" I mean, I get it, I see it on TV, but, like, that should not be normalized. The fact that we're normalizing cheating is really sad, 1, and I just did not agree with it, and I don't agree with it still, but I was just like, "You might be saying, like, what's the big deal?" But at the time, I'm like, "Of course it's a big deal," and I still think it's a big deal. It's just that I get it. He didn't murder someone. He's not a pedophile. He you know, he this there's people who are disgusting in the world and are truly bad people, and then there's stupid people who make terrible mistakes who I never would wanna be in a relationship with. I might not ever wanna be their friend, but they're still not a, innately terrible person.
Like, to their core, you mean? Like, they're to their core, they're not a
Yeah.
bad person, they just make bad choices.
And there's a whole narcissism thing. And trust me, I understand how narcissists can damage or even ruin your life. Trust me, I get it. But I don't think he's a full blown narcissist. I think he can be narcissistic, but I don't think he's a narcissist. I don't know. I guess the question still begs to be answered. I'm just saying,
He's getting more shit than people who do really terrible things, and it,
Also, I
like,
think the
finally
other,
hit me.
like, note to that is it's okay to make mistakes, it's okay to mess up, but it's, like, learning from those mistakes and then putting in the time to, like, correct them and not make them again.
The reason why people can't get over it, and that's what he doesn't understand. Because these are all the feelings I have about it, but it's like, well, why can't the public get over it? And to me, there's a clear reason why they can't, and it's because of his actions. But, yeah, let's get to that. Let's go try to go in order.
We'll try.
We'll try.
and I want to say, it's not like I don't think people can call him out for the stupid shit that he does. I think he should be called out for the shit that he does. And he is on a reality TV show. So that's part of it. And when he does ridiculous, dumb things, he's going to be called out. But I'm talking about the acting like he's the scum of the earth. And kind of like I was saying, like about Sheena before, like acting like they are these evil people or just like they're not human beings and they could take like pounding after pounding after pounding. It just gets to be a lot after a while. At some point, it's just too much. But anyway, back to the recap.
I feel like the next thing that we have to discuss is the meditation. We must.
Yeah, but can I just say quickly,
Speaking of making fun of them, but in a lighter way.
when Sandoval left his room from writing in his dear diary, he went to go get the door, and he literally looked like, to me, Joan Crawford, Mommy Dearest. Do you know that movie? Mother Dearest? Mother Dearest or Mommy Dearest?
Wait,
Hold
yes,
on.
mommy dearest.
That was one of my I'm like a weirdo. That was one of my favorite movies as a kid.
Wait,
Don't
that's
ask me why.
so weird. I only watched that a few years ago.
Oh my god, I freaking love that movie.
And yes.
Oh my god, like, when she's wearing the headband and she's, like, the wire hangers, him in the headband
It's
just
him in a headband, though. That's okay, literally, when you said "Mommy Dearest," I was like, "Oh, it's the headband."
and his face, like, being taut, like, the way her
Yes.
face is taut, like, going to the door, I'm like, "Oh my god, you literally remind me of."
Yes.
Anyway, so what did you wanna say about the meditation scene?
Okay, so first off, my question for you is, did production have any say in the pairings of things, do you think? Because
Yes, they did.
Sheena seemed really upset in the sense of, like, production didn't. She was like, "Brock, why aren't you coming over to me?"
No, yeah. No, I heard production paired them up.
So then that's interesting, because honestly, when I was watching, I was like, if Brock does not run over there right now, he is not gonna leave her with Sandoval by herself. Like, that was my first initial thought. I was like, "This is about to be super emotional."
But then he said the reason why he did.
And I respected that too because I was like, "Okay, as a partner, he's seeing her and her own friendship that they might need their own time," which I respected. But
Yeah.
I need for me personally, I need him to be more in tune with what she needs.
You know what though?
Do you think she
I
needed that?
I think he was. I think he knew that that's what she wanted, but she doubts herself. Okay, and if you listen to the conversation we had yesterday, it was OCD, and I have OCD. It seems like Sheena needs a lot of reassurance, and people with OCD are always seeking reassurance. It's actually one of the things that we have to work on, and it's a compulsion. So you have your obsessions, and then one of your compulsions, like a way to make you feel better, is to seek reassurance, like asking questions or asking people things and trying to understand from what other people think. And we'll talk about that like in a little bit too when we talk about her making sure with Ariana, basically saying to Ariana, like she wanted Ariana to give her approval. This might not be her OCD. I'm just saying it could be her OCD. But I think that Brock, possibly, I'm not positive, it seemed like Brock knew it's what she needed and what she wanted and thought, my wife has been struggling with this because she doesn't want to admit that she wants to be talking to Sandoval or she doesn't feel right not talking to him. And she's struggling so much knowing that Sandoval, again, S or SI warning here, but that Sandoval possibly might not have been here if he had committed the act that he was thinking about committing. And she was really struggling with that. And I feel like I don't think I agree with what he did because I don't know if my partner did that, how I would feel. I would feel very uncomfortable. But at the same
I
time,
know,
I think
same, like, I would be so annoyed, I would be like, "Okay, I get where you're coming from, and I understand your intention is good, but, like, I needed you. I needed you to be a part of that, or I would want you to be a part of that moment. I wouldn't wanna do that moment alone."
yeah. Well, I think it was the right decision though, because otherwise she wouldn't have
I feel like he
gotten
gave her that, like,
anything.
little push, you know? Like, "Here, I'm pushing" like, a loving push, like, "I'm
Yeah.
gonna push you towards what I feel you need to do."
Yeah. Like I wouldn't have been happy with my partner, but I think I would have understood it because I truly do think he had the right intention there and knowing what she need as much as I was kind of annoyed about that, I was like, "Ooh, I feel like he is a good" right now, even though I was mad at him at the shopping scene and all that, I feel like he's a pretty good partner to her.
'Cause I feel like he's looking at it like, "Honey," and I'm saying honey because he says honey, "Honey, you needed this. This was good."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was for something, it's not for nothing.
Yeah. And I don't think I know a lot of people think that everybody's doing these things for storylines. I don't think most of them do that. I think that's a Sandoval thing. He's really concerned about the show and how everything looks on the show,
In quotes, "optics."
right? The optics of things. But although I really don't think he's looking at that so much right now. I mean, he is a little bit, but I feel like he's a lot more. He is like a shell right now. So
Yeah,
I don't think
that's for
it's
sure. He definitely again, I feel from this episode but even so though, his shell kind of also became armor at one point too, in a
yeah.
way. It was a little bit
Yeah.
aggro.
Yeah.
But I was genuinely happy that Sheena and Sandoval had that moment together, because I feel like she needed that.
Yeah. So how did you feel in the moment? Were you crying?
I was so crying. I was so emo. I was such an emo girl. It was never a phase mom type. Like, the fact
Wasn't
I that's a thing. Do you know that?
No, what did you say?
Okay, so, you know the whole emo night thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm an emo night person. I love emo night.
You go to Ebo night?
I've gone to, like, 6 emo nights. I freaking love it. It is so much fun.
Why
And
didn't you tell me this? Did you ever go with the girls? Like, see them
no, I'm
then?
so mad. Bro, okay, so the night that they were there, I was talking with people that were there waiting online to get in, and they were like, "Girl, don't even try. Like, we've been waiting for an hour and a half, and they're telling us we're probably not gonna get in." So I definitely was
Oh,
like, "Okay, it's 11 o'clock at night, it's freezing, I'm not trying to go." But the emo nights that I have gone to, oh my gosh, I encourage everyone, go find an emo night in your city. They're usually in, like, major cities. It is so much fun. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun.
what do you do?
You just listen to emo music, you vibe out with other people that love emo music, and sometimes you mosh pit. I went into a mosh pit once, I will never do it again because 'cause I'm a big baby. Do you know what a mosh pit is?
Yeah, I know
Okay.
what a mosh pit
No, no,
is.
no, I'm not no, no, no. No, I'm not saying that because you don't know. I'm saying because I learned what a mosh pit was at my first emo night.
I was gonna say, I think it's more of an older thing, so I was surprised that you yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, okay. So, I went into
Yeah,
one, I
I
got, like,
was some
one.
in some mosh pits back in the day, and I will never be doing a mosh pit again,
No,
but
I am way too gentle to be in a mosh pit, but it's fun and I don't know, like, the vibe, you kinda just go for, like, the energy, if that makes sense, but I definitely
yeah.
love emo nights. I am an emo night person for sure. I was very sad I could not go. Do you understand how sad I was, like, truly? I was like, "Are you kidding me? They're there?" And they have their whole, like, every night is VPR, every night is emo night, or whatever the
Yeah.
the shirt said.
You're gonna have to go to another one.
I hope that they host another one.
Of course they're going to.
You think so? Okay, because Sheena's really on her whole, like, emo music vibe right now, so I am fingers crossing because I will wait in line for however long I need to. I don't even care if the show ends and I get to see them while they're walking out, I'll wait.
Yeah. Speaking of Sheena, as much as I love her, and as uh, there's too much music coming out, in my opinion, from Sheena. Like we need a we were I was like so excited to get a new song, but now it's like I think she's releasing one a month, and I'm like, let's just take a chill pill on this.
Okay, wait,
Let's
so
slow down.
do we like Sheena's music?
I love Good as Gold, obviously.
Mhm.
I have a sweatshirt from her. Um, the Santa one, I thought it was weird to say Rachel in there, but now I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know, whatever with the lawsuit anyway. Um, well, no, I guess it was still inappropriate. And then what's the other one? What was the more recent one? The apples, so whatever. I thought was weird to
Mhm.
have Rachel in that too. I just don't really like the whole diss track thing. I feel like music lives on forever and I just like something about it I don't love. But then she just released one as like sweet and sour or
Mhm.
something.
Yep.
And I'm like, I can't do it again. I need a break. I couldn't even listen to it. I'm like, I need a break. I love her. I need a break from the music. I feel like it's too much. It's like when you watch your favorite movie, every day for 10 days in a row, and then
Right,
you're
and
like,
it's like a
I'm done with
little
it.
I don't wanna say repetitive, but it's like, "Okay, let's get, like, maybe some fresh new material."
Yeah. Or just space it out, like once every 6 months, not every
Right.
month.
Yeah.
Very, 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 it's very invasive almost. Okay, so
Wait, wait, pause 1 second. Somebody's knocking on my door right now, and I don't know who it is, so I'm just gonna go see who's knocking on my door.
okay, don't answer it.
No, no, it's my neighbor. I know who's knocking on my door. I don't know why, though.
Oh, looking at people. Do you have a people?
No, no, I have my camera. It's my neighbor.
Oh, good, okay.
But I see them on the camera, so I just wanna go see what they need. They probably need quarters
Oh,
for laundry. I'll be right back. 2 seconds. You
okay.
want me to stop the recording?
No, no, please.
Okay. Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna mute. Hold on 1 sec. Okay, sorry. They need quarters. It's so
Are you like
'cause I wrote in the group chat that we have, like, "Hey, if anybody ever needs quarters."
I was gonna say, are you the quarter lady of
I
your
am. I
building?
literally am the quarter lady. I'm not which I do not mind at all.
You're the quarter lady of your
I
building.
am the quarter lady of my build, which I
Now, what do they
honestly
do? They give you money and you give them quarters?
sometimes.
It's, like, super funny. Okay, alright, you ready?
Yes, we're living.
Well, so the meditation scene, I oh my god. God. Again, if you just are listening, trust me, I'm not a Sandoval fan. I'm just saying how I felt in the moment, okay? He was not performative, which is the word I used in my head, and then the word she said out loud, which so agree. He was just crying. Like, it's been interesting to see his tears just run down. I'm sure he saw all of us making fun of his crying all over the internet,
He has
and
at this point,
he
yeah.
he had to have. And it's the tears are just running down, and it's real. It
I
looks
didn't think that
real.
those were crocodile tears, I did not. Like, at least for the meditation, he was looking at Sheena and her soul, and they had a moment. I will
Oh
not
my
discredit
god.
that moment.
That was so sad. It was so sad.
Did you think at any point did you put yourself in her situation? Not obviously not with Sandoval, but, like, if you could have been in a moment with somebody in your past that maybe you're no longer friends with or had, an issue with, a conflict like that, and what you would have done or how you maybe would have reacted? Because that's what I did, and I was like I was in tears.
Yeah. Did you, like, picture your own people, you mean?
Yeah, like, I literally was like, "Okay, I'm imagining myself doing this with somebody from my past," and it's intense. That's a serious, intense moment.
You know what's interesting? I God, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I'm gonna say it.
Say it.
I felt so much in that when she ran up the stairs and was like, "I still fucking hate you," or whatever,
I was like, "Oh, for him." I was like, "Oh," I felt bad. Because I'm like, "God, it probably feels so." I don't even know if he heard her actually, but it felt to know that, like, then this person has to run away from you because they're so angry at you,
I
like
know. And that's why I said I really do validate her pain in the sense of she is carrying, like, hatred in her.
yeah. I mean, that TRO thing, sucks. We'll get
I
to the
I
TRO
was gonna
also
say, can we get to the TRO for
'cause
the
that's one of our
gondola?
questions from because that was one of our questions. With the what?
Okay, with the gondola ride, in the sense of, like, Sandoval and Brock kind of hashing it out too.
Oh, yeah, let's
Also, I
talk.
need to say this, I did not know what that name was. I've been calling a gondola a ski lift for, like, the longest time.
Wait, hold on. Here's the thing. It's weird that you're saying this.
Wait, why? Why is it weird though?
No, I know. A gondola, I thought was and I'm Italian, like, the boats in Venice, aren't those
Me
called
too! Wait a second, this is freaking me out. Me too.
so
Where the
why are
guy
they
sings to you and he's got the paddle.
but, yeah, I've never heard of it, but then I mean, I think recently I've heard of it being used in the other way, but I thought that was a ski lift, or what do we call that? Over here, we call that something else. We call it the thing at Great Adventure,
And
where you
I
go
just know because I've been calling it a ski lift for 4 years.
oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, I always think of it as, like, a ski lift too. No, I forget, it's something called wait, it's a Disney too. Wait, ride called that goes
I know what
across
you're talking about, and it, like, kinda goes over the whole park, right?
yeah, yeah,
Oh, Skyway. It's a Skyway.
that's what
Oh,
I
I
but there's no
just
ski.
I know. I know.
I forgot
That's
what it's
the
called.
that's the other thing too, I don't know why I've been calling it a ski lift, but the gondola, I
Hmm.
do think of, like, an Italian man wearing, like, a red beret singing.
We're just going to take a quick break and give a shout out to Draw Me Bitch, the person who did our podcast artwork, who is amazing. Please check her out on Instagram and on TikTok. She also has her website, shopmebitch.com, where you can buy coloring books, stickers, gifts for all things Bravo. But she now has a subscription on her page, which gets you access to weekly Vanderpump coloring pages. Definitely go check her out. You will not regret it. And I also would like to give a shout out to our friend Peyton. She is Glorified Gossip Girl on Instagram. Right now, her account is down because of weird rules that don't make sense. So please go follow her back up at Glorified Gossip Girl, but with a U for the girl. And she also is Glorified Vintage Girl. She does amazing work. A lot of Bravo Lebs wear her and order from her, including Ariana Madix, Danielle Rivera, Katie Maloney. Go check her out and support her. Her website is on her IG page, or it's www.distressedout.myshopify.com. She is a super hard worker. She's great at what she does, and she's an amazing person as well. So, two fabulous girls to check out. And now back to the pod.
I have to say, Ops, I went live last night, and I was talking about you a little bit in my live.
Oh, no, what do you mean?
What do you mean, "Oh, no"? I only ever have
No, I mean,
amazing things
what
to
do you
say about you, literally ever. But,
no, what are you gonna say right now?
so, remember how we were talking about Lala and Schwartz at the pool scene and how you said you felt a little bit of tension?
Oh, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
guess what? This
Yeah.
episode I did. I don't know why, but when Schwartz said to Lala, like, "Should we sync up our breathing?" I was like, "That's really freaking intimate."
I got it in your head, I think.
I don't know, did you plant that seed? I don't know, but I was super analyzing.
Did
Even
anybody
you know
else
what,
say it?
though? I even analyzed when they were after they got off of the gondolas, and
The
Lala
vanilla
was like,
frat?
"I'm gonna be so gross. I want, like, nachos and this and that," and I was like, "Oh, she's telling Schwartz what she wants. He's ordering
Yeah,
for her. Hmm."
Cheetos and the vanilla frap. Yeah, I know.
So I don't know if you got in my
I
head or if there's something I think now that there's something there.
so it's so funny because last night I wasn't really feeling it, but I was like, maybe like a 1%, only because the vanilla frap and the Cheeto thing was just like, yeah, she sound I actually don't think there's, like, really anything there,
No,
but
same
I
here, but I feel like they actually really love each other differently than maybe what I thought they did.
maybe it I know, I think she kind of adores him, and I think that he Schwartz has a really soft spot for softness.
Yes,
And did we
very
say this on
true.
another and if you have a softness to you, he like, that gets him. So, I think when he sees those parts of Lala or of anyone, that's when he's like, "Oh, whoa." And I think Schwartz can probably fall in love kind of easily, even though he's had a hard time with this.
No, but I agree with that. That's such a great point because I feel like that is why he maybe could get himself into trouble sometimes too,
Yeah.
because he's able to fall so easily.
Oh, like the kissing bandit?
The kissing ban, even emotionally speaking too, I feel like he is very thoughtful with some of the things that he says, which could lead to him feeling a certain type of way, somebody else feeling a certain type of way, a connection being built, you know?
Yeah, I've realized that he actually does need a very even though I love Katie and he does need a very soft girl. He doesn't need and I don't mean soft like in a weak way. I mean, he needs somebody who's like super
No, who's like
emotional.
super mushy gushy. And I don't want to say
Yeah.
clingy because clingy might not be the right word, but somebody who's going to definitely make it known how they feel about him.
Oh my god, how funny was it gun jumping when he gets on the boat and I knew right away, I'm like, he's gonna freaking like this girl, this stewardess on the boat.
Wait, I also made a comment about that in my live. I was like, he has a thing for stewardesses with Katie Flood with Winterhouse.
Katie Floody, yeah. Oh my god,
Floody.
he's so funny, and then he's like, "Is it weird if I give you my number?"
Wait, and then he was like he, like, lied to her, and he was like, "We're not always like this." No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
We
yeah.
actually we are always like this.
He, like, says it and then because he, like, knows it's a thing to say, and then he's like, "Yeah, no, actually, this is us all the time." It was really funny. Um, okay. The meditation thing I thought was interesting too. Little Graham, hippie.
He was
Hippie
chilling. He was meditating.
Hippie's a good boy. I mean, I know he has his issues with aggression and biting, and I'm so surprised by that because he's a well-behaved dog.
At least on camera, I mean, we have not seen anything that has been, like, out of line.
Well, he's certainly not performing for the camera because 'cause he'd be a genius.
Could you imagine?
But my dog is so good, but he is a maniac. Like, if we were doing that, he'd be, like, laying on top of us,
Oh, yes.
barking.
Right. Correct.
So,
Same here.
trying to chase a bird, and I'm like, "This dog is straight chilling." Oh my god, when they walked out to the meditation, I said to my husband, I'm like, "What?" So, again, I don't know, is this like an empath thing? But they walked out, and I'm like, "What is with their calm energy? They are calm as"
But
I said I'm like, "Maybe it's the lake." I wanna live in Lake Tahoe, I think, like, it's gorgeous
I
there.
told
I've
you I've never been, and I so badly wanna go. I'm vicariously living, like, when they were just, like, kind of, appreciating, like, the morning lake, I was appreciating it with them. I was like I closed my eyes, I was hearing the different sounds. It looks so gorgeous. But really
Yeah.
quick, we were talking about quotes earlier, and a quote that really, really stuck with me during that meditation was Tom Sandoval saying, "You just don't understand." And then Sheena saying, "I don't know if I need to understand."
Yes, I wrote that
That was
down
pa
too.
You did? I thought you did too. I was like, "Okay, she's talking about quotes," and I feel like we wrote down the same quotes. That was powerful for me 'cause I understand what she's saying.
Very good. It was very good. It
Like,
was
kind of mic
exactly what
drop
we
moment.
It was exactly what we say, I feel like, and what everybody says, it's like, nobody cares.
I don't
Like,
wanna
nobody
understand, I wanna feel that you're actually apologetic. You mean it.
Yeah.
You I wanna understand that you understand your apology.
Mhm. In saying that, I guess I can say this now because it'll come up with the boat, but I guess it kind of matches here too. My best friend, who does love Vanderpump also, I'm very lucky, um, to have that because
Yes,
she's
you
my
are. Are you kidding? I love my best friend so, so much because she gave me her login, so I'm able to access Vanderpump on the East Coast.
Oh, right,
But
right,
she does
right.
not watch, but she will ask me and I'll, like, update her, like, "This one did this one did that," but you are lucky that you have a best friend that watches.
Yeah. So, 'cause most of my other friends don't watch. I'm like, "How do you not watch this?" But anyway, she was saying with Sandoval, she's like, "He just doesn't understand how difficult he makes it for everyone to sympathize with him." And that is so fucking true. And she's like, "I would sympathize him if he just took accountability. He thinks he's taking accountability, but he's not." She's like, "He's not, and he doesn't understand how difficult he makes it for everyone to sympathize with him." And I'm like, "Yes,
But that's why
you're
I feel like what we were saying, I don't know if it was the last episode or the episode before, when I was just talking about, like, I think he forgave himself. Like, his reality is not coinciding with others because he really is in my opinion, he's in a different reality. So if he has accepted his own apology, when he's talking with other people, they're gonna have conflict. There's gonna be miscommunication because he's like, I don't get where you're coming from. I've already forgiven myself."
Yeah.
But
No,
he's
you're
not
right. That was a great
showing
point.
that in his, conversations or his discourse, in my opinion. He has not.
You're right. All right. So we by the way, those aren't blue jays, right? Why was he calling the why
I
was
don't
the
know.
camera just getting the wrong birds on camera? Because those were not blue
No,
jays.
I know, and okay, so here's the thing, I was curious about that. Did they see blue jays, but they didn't get them on camera, so then they recorded other birds? I don't know.
Other birds with blue markings. I
That is
saw
so
some
funny, though, that you noticed that only because, like, I am an East Coaster, and I was like, "That's not a blue jay."
Yeah, we see blue jays all the time.
We don't have
So
blue jays out here. We have, actually something else. We have, like, a parrot. Believe it or not, there's parrots
did
that
you say
fly.
parrot?
Yes. Oh my gosh. There are parrots.
Are you serious?
What
Wow.
are the
Oh my
parrots?
god, that's crazy.
What are the parrots that are out here? Yes. Okay.
Like a parrot and like Pauly?
No, no, so we have, like, the Costa Rican parrots come over here, and it's only seasonal. They were just here, like, I think a month or 2 ago, and they're green, and you hear
Mhm.
them, like, in the morning when I walk my dog, you hear them. That is something I am so not used to being from the East Coast. I was like, I know, like, woodpeckers and blue jays.
All
And
right, we'll talk about it another. Oh, the small parrots in Costa Rica, I see them.
yes, yeah, 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 so that's, like,
Oh
that's
my god,
something.
they're so
They're so
cute.
they're so cute, and they always fly in, like, a pack, like, at least 3 or 4 of them, and it's just again, it's something I appreciate, like, living out here because it's something new. Again, I
Yeah.
love my woodpeckers and blue jays, but it was just cool. But anyway,
Oh, I
getting
don't love
back
my
to it,
woodpeckers.
I was
Yeah.
like, "Wait, oh, yeah, no, I don't
Mm.
love my" wait, I redact that. I do not love my woodpeckers. There was a woodpecker we had on our house for, like, a year, but just in the sense of, like, I was also like, "Wait, that's not a blue jay."
Yeah. Same, a woodpecker tormented me from, like, ages 10 to 11, I would say. Alright.
Oh.
Yeah. So we wanna talk about Katie and Ariana, the photo shoot that they went to for Ariana.
Yeah, I also just wanna say I would like to see Katie and Ariana a little bit more this season. I would love to know your thoughts about that. I just feel like we're not seeing them.
Yeah, they showed them a little more this episode. I mean, if you're not taping or recording whatever with the group, you're not
Well,
going
that's
to.
a good point too, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, but I was glad to see them. I love seeing them hanging out. I feel like they're so similar. It's always been, how were they not friends? Because
Right?
they're very similar. Like more
Extremely. Yes.
Sheena and Ariana are nothing alike, I kinda feel like.
Yeah, okay, so yes and no yes, I get where you're coming from in that, but I feel like Sheena and Ariana have a history together, which bonds them. That's what they have in common, if that makes sense, whereas, like, Katie and Ariana actually have behaviors that are similar.
Yeah, well, now they have this new bond, which is hating Sandoval.
Well, I was gonna say they have a new bond, both their exes are Toms.
Both their exes are Toms, true. They both hate Sandoval. I loved when, um, Katie said, "I'm a really good judge of character," and Ariana goes, "I know that now."
Yes.
The
And how funny because that's literally her validating, like, "Katie, I hear you, you told me all these years, and you kind of were confused as to why I was with Sandoval." And I personally, in my opinion, think that Sandoval was a wedge between Katie and Ariana. I do think that.
For sure, and she said, like, in another one too, right? Didn't she say, or did I just assume that she meant that? Like, she had his voice about Katie in her head, or she had, like, a certain narrative about Katie from Sandoval.
Yes.
Was that an after show or something? I don't
It
know.
might have been I know exactly what you're talking about, though.
I mean, I feel like he just had bad motives with the whole Katie thing, Sandoval. Like, I feel like he just didn't like Katie because Katie didn't like him,
Okay,
and that
I
happens.
was gonna ask you, do you feel like he just genuinely didn't like her?
I think he didn't like Katie because Katie would not like his bullshit. Yeah.
And would call him out, and he does not like to be called out.
Yeah, he doesn't listen, we've talked about this before, right? Like, if somebody is taking, like, the veil off of you, then
Yeah.
you're now the enemy, and Katie, I think, was the enemy. I think, I mean, we don't know.
Again, that's why there's so many sides to it, and I will never say, like, "This is definite. This is for sure." You know what I mean? Because it's like, no,
Yeah.
it really could flip-flop in either way.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny though, like in saying like what I was saying before about how people should not be coming so hard after Hannibal. In a way, like he needed something to just humble him because he was out of control.
Okay, so I know you really wanted to talk more about the gondola.
I just feel like that was for me personally, this was, like, when I was like, "Yes, this is VPR. They're getting real raw. They're actually having a conversation. They're not agreeing. This is what I'm looking for." And I felt like specifically the gondola ride, it was Schwartz, Sandoval, and Brock, and it started off pretty pleasant, and then it took, like, a 180 twist, and I was there
Mhm.
for it because I felt like what Brock had to say was fair. He was kind of challenging Sandoval. He's like, "Bro, you literally, like, your ex put a TRO on my wife."
Yeah.
And I think he's holding a pretty pleasant disposition, and I feel like everyone on this trip really is trying. And I think Sandoval needs to be a little bit more, I don't know if appreciative is the word, but he needs to be a little bit more, like, reflective about just how much people are stepping out of their own comfort zones to make this happen,
Yeah, a little bit more is being really nice.
right?
Mhm. A lot a bit more.
What did you
Yeah.
think about it, though? Like, I was frustrated hearing what Sandoval had to say, and then I was happy with what Brock had to say, so what were your
What did I
feelings?
think about it? So first of all, especially like how we talked about having OCD in the last episode, it really, really pissed me off when he was like, now Sheena having OCD makes sense, like being so focused on this thing. And it's like, no, you cannot blame what you have done on Sheena's OCD. You
Correct.
are not getting it. Stop blaming everybody but yourself, mister. Like, what are you doing?
Correct. I
It's
agree with that.
very frustrating, and then that's again, like, somebody else said, weaponizing mental health, and
Yes.
the way he said it reminded me of somebody in my life who had said things like that, and I'm like, "Oh, don't you fucking dare." And it's a thing. If somebody is open and willing and tells you about their mental health, then don't use it against them,
No,
okay?
that is, like, the worst of the worst. I'm sorry, but if somebody's opening up to you about their mental health, they're being
Mhm.
vulnerable, at least in my opinion.
Yeah,
Some people are a little bit more comfortable with being vulnerable, most of the population is not.
right. Exactly. And what was the thing on the gondola? They're talking about the TRL, right?
Yeah, and
So
I felt like that was fair for Brock to bring that up.
it was fair. I do have to tell you though, one of the questions, and we were going to answer questions at the end, but I want to answer one of the questions now because it has to do with it. And so one of the questions was from, I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's from Instagram user TROJNEM. But the question was, why on earth does Sheena feel bad when Tom doubled down on the hitting Rachel lie? And here's the truth, it's not a lie.
I know.
So and we know that. Well, I shouldn't say we know that. I guess it's not super well known, but this has come out. Many cast members have talked about this, and it was in the lawsuit. Does the lawsuit has many things that I think aren't true or hearsay. Personally, that's what I think. Or not personally. I mean, it is hearsay
I
from the
was
way
gonna
they
say, I feel like there's a lot of heavy allegations that we don't know about.
right. But Sheena did hit Rachel, and Sheena did push Rachel against a brick wall. Did Sheena punch Rachel in the face? I don't know. She shows us that fist with the nails.
I know.
I don't know if she punched her in the face, but she did push her against the brick wall and hit her in some way. I think most people don't doubt that. And it is kind of unfortunate that Rachel is getting thrown under as like this was a lie. Rachel, I'm not a fan again. However, I think that it's not fair because
I think it was completely unnecessary for Rachel to put a restraining order against Sheena because, from what I understand,
what a restraining order means is that you're fearful that they're going to, hurt you in the
Harm you,
future.
right, yeah.
Right.
also don't forget she did remove it. She didn't go through with it. And she did say that others were encouraging her to do it. So let's remember that. She did remove it. If it was a situation where she was truly scared, that's different.
So I think that was unnecessary. However, I'm not them. I wasn't in the situation, but it's not fair to be like, I get why they have to say she didn't do it. But the truth is, everybody's saying, like, members of the cast are saying the story and that she pushed her into the wall or she pushed her. So, and she claims that she got the scar from Sheena. I think it's fucked up that Sandoval, you know,
Even brought
and
that up.
yeah, and brought it up and encouraged Rachel to get this restraining order, or like maybe if the word's not encourage, it's not allowed. What's the word? Like just like step by and like let it happen, you know? But I guess you could only control so much. But I think as her friend, they were expecting him to lie.
I mean, okay, were they
I
expecting
think
him?
that's what was happening. I think as her friend, they're expecting Sandoval to lie for her. I think that's what happened on the reunion. I think that's what's happening now. And they're like, you should be protecting me, like, if you were my real friend.
That's an interesting okay, that's an
Oh,
interesting
you've never thought that
perspective.
before?
It's not that I haven't thought that before, I just see it, I think, a little bit differently. Because I think, again, I definitely I guess I do hold a pretty heavy opinion about this. I think that Sandoval is team Sandoval, so I think that he's pushing whatever narrative he wants, regardless of who's involved with it. Does that make sense? So he's
So
like
what do you mean explain?
like, in the sense of, like, he is choosing which narrative he wants to push.
What
You did this to Sheena. This is a fact. This is how it went down. Even if there's, like, some gray area, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna make it a fact.
interesting. So yeah,
Do you get
I
what I'm
do.
saying? Did I explain that okay?
No, you did. You did explain it okay, and that's how I think most people view it. So it's funny, they showed the clip behind the scenes of when Sheena was talking to Ariana, which I thought that clip was so crazy because Ariana was like, "He's not a cheater. Tom's not a cheater, and he's not a liar."
Oh my god. She had such conviction when she said that, and I was like, "This is chilling."
And Sheena was like, "Well, he's been both of those things," which is true. But I think it's because he is a cheater and he's a liar when it's something that's protecting what he thinks is gonna make him look bad. But I think when it comes to a lot of things on the show, he's so black and white that I think a lot of the things he says are actually, like, just facts.
Well, that's a great
Not even that
point.
it's true or false, but just that it's a fact.
That is a great point, though, that you just brought up, which I'm very happy you said, which does validate what I have been saying, which is I do think he sees things in black and white, right? So, I did
Yeah,
wrong. I forgive myself. Black, white. I forgive myself. I'm moving forward.
right.
That's how I take it.
Yeah,
Or that's how I perceive him, rather.
yeah. No, he does think like that. Well, something about the gondola that was really funny was, and I just posted that video, was Schwartz. Oh, by the way, if you follow me, I can't post videos on TikTok, like I said, so it's on Instagram if you wanna see it, it's really funny.
But
So the gondola ride with Schwartz, this was, like, the first thing I saw, because like I was saying in the last one, I always look at people's faces and stuff. Schwartz was shrinking down in his seat lower
yes.
and lower as the gondola went on because he was so uncomfy with the way Sandoval was talking and Brock and oh god, because he that's when he made that stupid OCD comment and you just see on the video like him just shrinking lower and lower and then you see when Sandoval makes a comment, Schwartz puts his head over on Sandoval, like, to knock his shoulder to be like, "Shut up," but then didn't wanna make it look so obvious, so then he goes back on the other side and
Yep.
pretends to do it to Brock, but then just doesn't hit Brock and just does it for the camera, like, I guess to make it look sly and stealthy, and no, we saw that, he was trying to tell him, "Shut up." I feel so bad at Schwartz. I mean, I don't feel bad entirely because he made this choice, this is his partner, and I'm gonna call him his partner. He
Yeah.
on the after show, Schwartz is sitting there picking something on his hand, like, the whole time because he's so freaking uncomfortable with Sandoval's answers.
And I also feel like Schwartz's body language is very telling of how he's feeling, and when I watched him literally disintegrate into the gondola chair, I was like, "He's out." If he could jump out of the gondola, I think he would have opted for that.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. He would've. Okay, so we're gonna cut the VPR recap here for today. The second part of the recap is gonna be out in a couple of days. That's part 2, and it's going to have everything else that happened. And we're gonna talk more about Ariana, talk more about Lala, talk about that boat ride because a lot went on there. So we're gonna finish this now by going over a few questions from followers. All right. This is from Jackie Stevies. She says, "Do you think there will be a season 12? And if not, where do you think everyone will end up after?" And this question came up a couple times actually. So, what do you think?
Okay, so personally, I was watching and I was like, why are they showing so many nostalgic throwback scenes? This makes me feel like we're coming to an end, like closing time. That's how I'm feeling. The season might be the last, but the Queen Bee show, who I adore and love, if you guys are not following her, an amazing content creator, covers Bravo, also does some lives where she will do some book readings and things like that. Absolutely adore her. Um,
Mhm.
she said,
Hold on, her name is Brittany Adams also because she's different. She's back a Brittany on TikTok.
"Oh, okay, I have her on Insta. I'm in the group chat with her on Instagram."
It's funny because we mentioned her in another recording, but that had to get cut, so I'm glad that she came up again because she is so sweet and amazing. But anyway, go ahead.
She made it a point that she thinks they're showing all of the throwbacks for new viewers because Vanderpump became so popular. We've gotten new viewers that are now watching. Maybe they've only caught up on the last 3 seasons or whatever the case is. So that
Mhm.
production is purposely putting those scenes in to kind of catch them up in a quick way. And I was like, I never saw it like that. That's a great point.
Yeah, super smart, Brittany. I actually think that's probably most likely the reason. I never thought of that. I was like, "They're doing too much of this." That makes so much sense.
And I don't want this to be the last season at all.
I don't think it's the last season. I think that they make too much money from the show, and I think that they're not done closing it. I think that we've got at least one more, and I people have alluded to that also.
Okay.
I
For season 12.
Sorry, season 12, yeah.
Me happy because I don't want it to be the last season. I need at least one more. I need at least one more because this is a cushion after Scandival. I need at least one more after this season.
Me too.
Oh, and the question about where will they go after? I mean, the Valley. I think it seems like the Valley is probably going to be super dramatic, which will then make it successful. Sheena said she would do the Valley and Vanderpump at the same time, which I thought was very interesting. So I think some of them are going to be transitioning over. I think Sheena, Lala, Brittany had mentioned she would like Schwartz transitioning over there. I'm not sure. Katie and Ariana, I could see doing something different, maybe. Maybe it's something about her spinoff if that, hopefully gets going. It should get going. I think it's weird that people think it's a fake front. It's not. I really do not think that would happen. But yeah, so I think just the spinoff shows.
Okay. And then another question that one of your followers asked, Liz, she asked, why does Brock wear heels? Fair question.
I mean, now that she says it, I feel like I did kind of picture that. Why does Brock wear heels?
Is he wearing heels or is it just the style of shoes? Again, you mentioned this in another podcast about like culture and stuff. I don't know. Maybe that's just like the type of shoe that
How tall is Brock Davies? Let me Google this shit.
that's a good Google actually question.
How tall is Brock Davies? I mean, if they have this, then Brock's made it if they have this. Football player, Brock Davies, Colorado. It's not him. According to its college football roster. Oh, so it was what? 6'1". He seems tall. Um,
He's only 6 foot. He does seem
that's
taller
from the
than
Bravo
me.
website, guys. So that is obviously the most ultimate source you can get.
Okay, but
Bravo.
also Sheena is pretty short actually, because every time I've seen Sheena, she's wearing heels. And she
Yeah.
isn't even my height. And I'm like, I'm not that tall. I'm 5'6", but she's still a little bit like under me even when she's wearing heels. How tall is Sheena?
So she's actually 5'5". I thought she was shorter. I thought she was like a 5'2"er. She's 5'5".
That I just looked at I forgot Brock the BravoCon. I do remember Brock the BravoCon was wearing the heels because it was showing. Everybody has their own choices of fashion, but I do think it's interesting because he is so tall.
Is it just the style of shoe though? Is it a heel or is it just like a
No, it's a heel, and what I'm looking at right here, it's their heels.
is it
They're
like a Harry Styles type of style thing, maybe? Because he also kinda rocks the if I'm thinking about the same shoe, which I'm trying to picture and I think I can remember, it's like a Harry Styles type kinda like
he wears the
blue.
heels, Sandoval wears the what are they, platforms. That's what they do. That's what they do.
I don't know. I don't know. Like we've seen on Summer House, like I think guys know that people in general like height. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure, but yep. He does wear heels. And I know we are both on the side of you wear whatever feels good for you. Okay, so I think that's everything for today.
I just think that we should wrap it up like one of, the girl's sandwiches. That's something about her.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you guys for listening. Make sure you give us a follow, rate the podcast if you can. It helps so much. We really appreciate that. Let us know in messages any feedback that you'd like to let us know. Like we said, we're always up for kind or compassionate critique. And that's it. We'll see you guys later.
We will see you guys later. Thank you so much. It's always fun.
Later.
See you later.